Alright, I just filmed this whole little bit, and I didn't have the microphone on, so we film it again. This is a cardigan that I bought and didn't make. The reason I am showing it to you is because I like the length of it. As you can see, it goes all the way down to my knee. So I measured it, and it's like exactly 3 feet long, which means in my efforts to finish this before Joann's goes out of business and I can no longer access the yarn, I need to make this 3 feet. It's not quite there yet. So I put it up here, and as you can see, we're like, top of the butt level. So we're a little over halfway, but not quite all the way halfway. But just to give you guys another view of this is my Starry Night inspired Granny Diamond cardigan. I am using Navy by Big Twist Yarns. This is the Value Pound Plus. It was a skein, but we had a 4-hour fight and I won, and now it's a ball. The sparkle is the Big Twist Twinkle in Sapphire. And then for the cuffs and the ribbing, we will be using Big Twist Value in Varsity Gold. And I'm going to do little stars on the bottom ribbing. And I might work in some of this Yarn Bee Bejeweled Sequin Gold. Now, I'm going to confess, fucking hate Hobby Lobby. I don't like that I have this. But this is the only thing like this that I can find. So other yarn brands make this, so I don't have to go to fucking Hobby Lobby, please. Thank you. So the plan is I have to finish this back panel. Once the back panel's done, we're in the clear, because the back panel is, as always, the biggest piece. Like I said, we're getting up to a good size, like, just getting nice and big. When I did this, when I started this would have been, had I completed it at the time I started it, my 3rd ever cardigan. Which means I did it in a 4mm hook instead of a 5mm hook. So, it's gonna take freaking forever to finish. But let's see where we're at here. So if we line that up, we're at 25 inches, and I need 36, so we need 11 more. And we'll try and update you when this is done, but depending on what happens, how's it's galore, you'll see me when you see me. But yeah, that is the plan for this video, because I want to finish it in case I need more Joann's yarn. I gotta deal with that problem now. I'm 90% certain everything else in the WIPS basket is not Joann's yarn, so this one has to be the priority to finish. As I mentioned in my WIPS video, this is the thing I most want done and the thing I least want to work on, and the fact that I started it in a 4mm hook makes me want to work on it even less. So, thank you past me for the torture. And the other thing that makes it a pain is essentially the way the pattern works. I will show you. I have a lovely little diagram drawn up. Welcome to my cave, to my crochet cave. And in my crochet cave are my crochet notes. So let me clear those up. Well, these are my notes. But essentially, I started with solid. We'll say this green is color A. And then the next row, we alternate color B, color A. And then the row after that is a solid of color B. And then the row after that is the same order, alternating, because you want to stack. And like in this, it looks like little pluses, but that, like, center stitch that's colored in there doesn't actually exist. It's just a hole, and I can't make it look like that, but that's, you know, like, these stitches don't really exist because of the way the granny square kind of works out. And I will attempt to show you that on this. It's just much harder because these colors are close on purpose. So you see, like, in here you actually have a hole, and here's a hole. But, so these end up stacking, and then the alternating on the dark blue also end up stacking. Otherwise, it's granny clusters. Like, it's simple. It's just tedious. And especially because this one is so long, like, I can get through the whole row without having to untwist the yarn, but by the end, it's like, oh, thank God, I can clip the yarn and yank it out so that we're not all twisted up again. But, my goal for today specifically, the last day of February, is to finish this freaking back panel. Because, again, I started this is like my third cardigan I started, so it's February, so June.
Alright, hello everybody. So as you can see here, I have my front panel, back panel, and a second front panel. But before I sew this on, I'm going to use it to help me guesstimate my length of my sleeve that I'm going to So now that I have put this on, which I will probably end up fast forwarding through, so it's not being very chatty there. But so that's my length, width of sleeve. I think I'm gonna go for. We'll see. But I'm going to write these down, sew this other front panel on, and I think I'm going to do the sleeves on this one the same way I did them on my zigzag one, where instead of making like a panel where I would sew this end on, do it that way, or do I want to do it that way? No questions. We'll do it this way. No, I want to do it this way. I want it to be like a continuation. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't like it when the pattern switches direction. That bothers me. So I'm going to try and do that. And then before I do any of that, I'm going to add the ribbing on here just so I can kind of get a vibe. Because I mean, like, I'm gonna hold the yarn up to the shirt I'm wearing. We're pretty close, and like, I like these colors together. I think it's gonna look good. Getting excited. And I have the both back panels and the front panels done. And I still have not finished the Value Pound Plus in navy. Like, there's so much yarn in there. I didn't need to. I died. This was like the third cardigan I started. I didn't know. But that's the progress update. I've got the fronts done. Gonna sew the one on. Gonna start making sleeves. And I add ribbing. And I will update you when I feel like it, probably. Probably won't update you after the ribbing, but I will update you after the sleeves.
Alright, so I have some updates and a story. Now, as you can see, the sun is happening, which means what you're about to see is the realization I made after finishing an entire sleeve, because the area I crochet in underneath my loft, I don't get a lot of natural light, and I get migraines, so I don't like really obnoxious, overly bright overhead lights. And I might be a little bit colorblind. So, this is the sparkly color I've been using in this whole cardigan. It is Sapphire. This is teal. And looking at them here, they are widely, obviously different. Like, so different. But in the dark, like, the color looked similar enough that the only difference I could see was that the sparkly on this one was brighter than this one. And I just thought it was a, like, lot difference, and otherwise I didn't care. Well, it wasn't. And I made a whole sleeve. And you could see, like, this is the blue, this is the teal. I made the whole sleeve. I started the second sleeve. I went to sew it on. Like, I did this pretty much all in a day. And then I went to sew it on, and got, like, my sewing string up next to the blue that's in the body, and I went, these are not the same color of yarn. And as I said, I decided to finish this project in case I needed more yarn, because Joann's is going out of business. Well, I went to, there's two Joann's by me. One is like 10 minutes away, one's half an hour away. Not a big deal. But I went to the one that was 10 minutes away yesterday, and they did not have the Sapphire. They had one teal, and then they had like some of the like pink and some of the red, and like it's just they didn't have the color I needed, and I was like in full panic mode, trying to make myself feel better. So I sewed the pockets on, and they look great. But that only made me madder last night, because I'm like, well, now it looks great, and I'm going to have to come up with a new plan for the sleeves, because I'm not going to have more of the sparkly blue. And then we went to the one that's a half an hour away today, and they had the sparkly blue. So we're good. I have enough. I got 2 skeins of it, just to make sure, which is probably more than I'll need to finish the sleeves. But these are the pockets. They're so cute. Like, they're so cute. And they do, if I get up close for you here, I did put the sparkle on them. But also, so many ends. The only complaint I have for this diamond granny stitch thing, so many ends. But I mean, this is a nice size. I can back up enough here. Like, it's got decent length to it. There we go. And I still have to put the bottom on, which is why the yarn is still connected. Like I said in the last clip, I think I'm going to do a couple rows of single crochet and then start the stars. And the stars will have the sparkling in them, but the rows of single crochet won't. That is my decision on that. But yeah, so I starting roughly, it's 6:40 now, but it was also daylight savings time, so I can't math. But at like 6 yesterday. No, at like 3 yesterday is when I made this discovery, and we went to the close Joann's. So I probably had like a good 12-hour just panic before we got to go to the farther Joann's today. And they did have the yarn, which again, thrilled, amazing, so happy, so excited. I also got some green buttons. They weren't quite this neon, but I have fluorescent spray paint. So those are drying, and then those will be going on there. And then I got these buttons, which I do not think I will be using. Maybe? I just don't think they're quite big enough. They might be. It's just I only have 6, so I really would have to spread them out. I might use these as buttons. If I don't use them as the buttons for this cardigan, they'll be on there as just like decorative extra stars. But yeah, that is my update. I am this far on the restart of the first skein. I'm just like, I bought all this yarn last summer, and I must have grabbed, 3 skeins of the Sapphire, and I grabbed a teal, and they were close enough that I didn't notice it was an issue. But when it's in the sun, it's incredibly noticeable that it's an issue. So, yeah. To double check your shit, folks. Read the labels. And then you don't have to live my life of unnecessary panic.
Alright, so as I mentioned in the last clip, I had to go the yarn so I could finish the sleeve that matched. And I did that. I got the yarn. It's all put together. I just have to do the cuffs. I did the little star border on the bottom. I just gotta do the cuffs and deal with the 9 million ends that are on the ends. Guys, there's nothing more satisfying as a creative person when you have an idea in your head and you make it in the real world and it looks like you thought it would look in your head. And I'm over the moon. It's going to be like the project I hated making the most, but was the most worth it. I will do that. That's the plan for today. It is Friday, the 14th. My goal would be having it completely done by the end of Sunday, which I think I can do. It's just, it took me 2 days to attach the shoulder, arms to the shoulders and seam up the sides, one for each side, because there's so many ends going on, and I've been having a week. I haven't felt good. I've been mentally tired, and so sewing that together while working through all of the ends that I haven't weaved in yet, and because it goes down to my knees, my brain was just I can't do this right now. And instead of trying to force my way through it, I was like, okay, we'll work on something else, because I really want this to be some of my best work. So I'm, trying to be patient, calm, and do it the right way. So as for what I've been working on in the meantime is when we went to Joann's, button buckets. And these are, there's one skein of black. This was a ball, but not anymore. And then the rest of these, I might take these out because they have black in them, which doesn't work very well for this brand, I swear. These are all my variegated scraps. That's what this bucket is. And then the black. Why? why the very beginning of the plan. This is my plan for a scrap blanket. So I have 4 of these made up out of various scraps. You should recognize this one. It's from my Stripey Hexagon cardigan. This one's from a plant cooling blanket I made, but not only do I have this small, which is large, I also have 3 other skeins of this. I might not make more of that with this, because I might just save it to use as part of that project. I have this. That's just, it's not working for me. There's so many. What are these cats? I'll deal with that in a minute. And then this was from the other one I made in the same video as this. This is the purple stripey, and I had like just enough for this, and then I had a string like this long, and I have a bucket for like all my scraps and strings and like ends and stuff like this, because you can use it for stuffing. And I don't make like amigurumi type stuff super often. I've made 3.5 things. I made my little Wooloo. I've got 2 little cats I made, and then I started the big Wooloo. And then this is the other one, and this is from the yarn for that star sweater I just made. And as you can see, I have more. It's just, I had to like, it was like, we start here. I had made all the way to about here, and I ran out of blue, and I had that same blue at the end, but it was the inside end. So I just have to rewind that ball. But these squares are going to go in that back bucket with the yarn for now, because I only have 4. Okay, this bucket's not big. These are 8x8. When they, like, I put them on the blocking board just to, you know, encourage them a little. They did not need a lot of it. They came out pretty square to begin with. I will link the pattern for that below. It's a YouTube video. And the other thing is, not that you can see it because you're sitting on it, I got a TV table. Like one of those fold-up TV tables. And here's the thing. Growing up, we had a set of 4 in my house. And I never, you know, like, you don't think about these things as a kid. You're like, we have TV tables. That is a product that we have in our home, and we moved, and we didn't bring them with us, and I didn't think it was going to be a problem, and it wasn't a problem, per se. It's just, it was a thing I had become used to having as an option, and I no longer had it as an option. And then the other day, when I was grocery shopping, I had to go to the garden section. In order to do that, one must walk past the clearance aisle for the way my Walmart is set up. And down the clearance aisle, they had one singular, extra large TV table for $10. I think it originally sold for $5. Like, okay. And like, I know I could go thrifting and probably find a whole set of 4 for $10, but I don't need 4. I needed 1. And this one's bigger than the ones I had as a kid. And so I actually used it yesterday when I was attaching the second sleeve and sewing up the side and all that stuff. And it helped a lot, just being able to, it's like I usually work in my chair here in my little nest under my loft bed. And that's, you know, usually works well enough for me, but just like sewing pieces together, keeping them flat, trying to keep track of that, can get a little squirrely. So just being able to lay it out on the TV table was a great help in the sewing department. The other thing is I have that flipped up under my bed. And I had that thing on, and it's bright. I also had this on. That is pretty bright. And I move these curtains a little bit. I can also get sunlight in here. And if anybody's going, why do you have this set up with all this extra light instead of just like sitting by the window? I get migraines. The sun is not my friend. I love her. She's not my friend. So, you know, I don't like overhead lighting. Except when I'm cramped. Which is how this whole like, yarn color debacle happened in the first place, because dark under here. And I just like the tinsel part is what tipped me off, because it wasn't like, this tinsel is really dark blue on the actual cardigan, and in the teal tinsel it's like significantly noticeably lighter. But I thought it was a dye lot issue. I don't know why I thought it was a dye lot issue, but it wasn't. And we fixed it, and we're all good now. But yeah. So there's that. The other thing I got is a steamer, which I have already used on this cardigan a couple times. I used it on the stars to just kind of help them dangle nicely off the bottom. I used it on the sides and like the shoulder seams, steamed them, and then kind of stretched them out a little bit so there's not as much of a seam. I'm going to be steaming everything I've made, because A, it's addicting, and B, everything I've made needs it. The first thing I think I'm going to steam is the that hexagon granny flower cardigan blanket I made at the beginning of the year here. But to do that, I think I'm going to have to take it in the bathroom and drape it over the rod. That requires effort, because the blanket is heavy. So, yeah, so that's the update. I'm thinking this should be done pretty soon. That wrapped up, so I can go back to the bucket. And then I have other buckets of these. So I have one for, these are all 4-weight, and these are the variegated. I have one for all my 3-weight yarn scraps, and then I have one for the 4-weight yarn scraps that are solid. I have one that's just pieces, so like I had an extra hexagon left over from that blanket. I had that first attempt of sleeves from my green cardigan that are just in that container at the moment. I'll make something with them eventually, I will. I have a container for the teal sparkle yarn that I don't need, and whatever's left of the blue sparkle will be going well. I made a cardigan out of this yarn that's like half acrylic, half wool, so I have a box for that yarn. Other than that, I think, so like I had that hangly thing over there where that big yellow star pillow is, and instead I moved that disco ball ornament over there, and it looks cleaner, it's less like visually obnoxious to me, so that's what we're working with. The other thing I can show you is this guy, which I haven't made a ton of progress on since the last time I showed it off, but well, I like how that looks. So that's this, which is just the red heart in carrot stripe, I believe is what it's called, or retro stripe. It's that pastel neon yarn is how I would describe it, which sounds like an oxymoron, but this is the yarn. And then the black is just a Karen 1 pound black. So there's that. Like I said, I'm going to do the cuffs on this, but before I do that, try it on for you guys real quick, just so you can see where we are. Spin. So have it all buttoned up, so I'm just gonna dive into this like overhead swing. Because that's easier than unbuttoning all these buttons. So that's that. I have up this, what I keep all my yarn scraps in. It's pretty full. Definitely enough to stuff that Lulu if I ever finish it. But I mean, and yeah, once I get the cuffs on here, like, this is a dream. And I am going to lay it flat and smooth as well. But again, the cardigan is not crooked. Fine. Leg shorter. The spine goes this way. I cannot begin to tell you how absolutely and if I get closer, you'll see that these have sparkle in them, as do these. And there's the button, not that it will focus, but they were just gold, and the blue stuff I put them in them is nail polish. Is that advisable? Probably not, but you live and you deal. So, those are my updates. The next update should be the finished product. Alright. It is finally done. I could not anymore. Absolutely over the moon with how this turned out. So I finished weaving in all the ends. So pretty much every 3 rows there was an end for this whole thing. Stiff, because I put it in the wash and I let it dry flat last night. Also a little tightened up. Look at it. It's not just the cutest. I mean, it perfectly matches what I had in here when I planned this whole thing out. And like, I like how you get like this subtle shimmer, but it's still just, it's not overwhelming, it's not 100% like the twinkle yarn, which I feel like would be too much, but it gives that nice shimmer in the light, give off like the actual night sky vibes, and then the very, you know, cartoony bold match with the stars and the gold. I just, there's, my fellow crafters will know and understand, there's nothing more satisfying to have an idea for a project, and then you make the idea like 100% perfect mind to actual product translation. It's just, it's the best feeling, and that's what this is for me. On that note, I would never, ever make this again. The diamond granny stitch, like, it very much gave the effect I wanted. It's not hard. It's just annoying, because you get just darn tangling multiple strands of yarn. Those projects tend to be very mentally taxing for me, which makes it not fun. So, as much as I love this, you could not pay me to make it. And you'd be paying quite a lot. I do love, I went through the effort, well, try and turn this down. Well, that helps a little, on the side. Like, I I tried to line it up so you can't really tell where the seam is as far as the pattern goes. And I did give myself like a B+ on that, because there's this one spot on the back where like I just dropped a whole half, like a whole cluster. And I didn't notice it until I was like sewing the front and back together. I wasn't fixing it at that point. But yeah, so this, I don't have words. I do not have words for how absolutely thrilled I am with the final result on this guy.
Hey guys, I just wanted to do some housekeeping that I forgot to do when I was filming the final reveal. So, as far as sizes for the panels go, the back panel was 34 granny stitches wide and 84 rows long. The front panels were 15 granny clusters wide and 85 rows long, and you're like, wait, that doesn't match the back panel. But the way I did it, or the reason I did it that way, is to complete like the diamond pattern. So that seam just kind of sits here instead of up here, and it's fine. I can't, like, it doesn't affect the way it fits at all. The sleeves were the sleeves were 20 clusters wide and 38 rows long. No, I take that back. 20 clusters wide and 52 rows long. And then I wrapped it around my arm. Like the 52 went around my arm. And then the 20 was what is the functional length of the sleeve, like from shoulder to wrist. For the cuffs, for all of the yellow, actually, I went in and did a row of single crochet in the navy into all of the stitches, so that when I started with the yellow, I was working into clean single crochets. Because the colors are such a contrast, it just makes the product look like, it makes it look cleaner. Because when you're working into like those side stitches, it can get a little messy, you know? So for all of the ribbing, I did a row of navy in single crochet first. For the cuffs, I did 2 rows descending single crochet to cinch the sleeve in, and then 1 row of double crochets, and then 9 rows alternating front post, back post, double crochet to do the ribbing. The like button placard ribbing, same thing, but for total it would be 1 row double crochet, 4 rows alternating front post, back post for 5 row ribbing. And then for the bottom, I did the 1 row single crochet in navy, I did 1 row in the gold, I did 1 row in the gold with the like sparkle thread stuff, and then I did the row with the stars. And then for the pockets was just a star pattern I found on Pinterest, which I will link, and then I added 3 rows onto it, just doing double crochets where you skip the 2 in the valley and you add, like, your point is 2 double crochets a chain, 2 double crochets, just to keep the star shape. So I added 3 rows onto the basic pattern that I linked, and I did that with the gold and the sparkle thread as well. And then I just sewed on 8 of the 10 sides to leave one side open as a pocket. I used a 4mm hook, and as I said, all this yarn was Big Twist, so not super helpful information, seeing as it's not going to be available for very much longer. But I'll have all this in the description as well. I used 1 skein, I used 1 skein of the gold. I used a value pound plus skein of the navy, and then probably would have been like a regular skein's worth out of a second skein of the value pound plus. I did not use a lot of that one. I used 4 skeins of the Twinkle color, the sparkly navy yarn, and then a minuscule amount of that sparkle foil thread. So you would only need to buy 1 of those. But yeah, I will, if I ever don't record myself telling you all of this stuff, it should be in the description. And if it's not, please by all means ask. I have like a notebook of doom, and I'm trying to keep notes on my phone now so that I can answer questions if you have them. But yeah, thank you.
Hi everybody. So as you can see, I have another sweater. This was also in the WIPS basket. So I had this whole front panel and the back panel done. I had the shoulders connected, which I don't know how well you can see, but it's just slip stitched together as I did this last part of the row. Left an opening. This is 10 by 10 clusters. And then as you can see, I've added a hood. So I started here, and this piece is actually worked into the top of this blue here, so you can kind of see the red peeking in a little. So it's chain 4 and 2 trebles to make a really tall granny cluster, and then just regular granny stitches on the shoulders here. You can see I've got into the corner, into the space between the slip stitches, and then into the corner. I did that on both shoulders. And then I also have some increases in the back just to make this wide enough. Like, I don't have a lot of hair right now, but like if I want to, pop these on, I still have so much space in this in this hood to fit like my giant arms. So, you know, I like things that are oversized. In hoods especially, like the chances I'm ever gonna actually have this put on, fun. But I wanted to use the yarn because I still have like 2 whole skeins of it. So I bought the yarn and then I chose the project, which is the first 2 things. Here we are. These are also just granny squares. My usual cuff with the alternating front post, back post, double crochet. I also have the ribbing down here on the bottom. As you can see, I didn't tighten it at all. I didn't skip any. I just put a double crochet to every stitch. And because it's a granny square, all the granny stitches are facing out. So I just worked a double crochet into every stitch. This and the cuffs are 5 rows total. So the first row is just regular double crochet, and then the following rows are worked alternating front post, back post. You want all the front posts to stack, you want all the back posts to stack. That's how you create the ribbing work. I also added a pocket, because what good is a hoodie without a pocket? This is just double crochet. I didn't think I could make one that would look right with the granny stitch. I tried. I didn't like it. So this is what we have instead. I did 5 rows of 33 double crochets, and then I did 6 rows where I decreased at the beginning and end of each row just once. Bring us up to 27 here, and then there's 4 rows of 27. It's just sewn on the top here, and the sides, bottom are sewn on. Let me tell you something about this. It is so warm. It is so warm. This yarn is 100% polyester. It's 25% recycled, 75% regular. If we pause for a second, I can grab the label. Alright, so this is the Landscapes Renewed. It's from Lion brand yarns, and this is the color Fiesta. That's, you know, what we're looking at as far as the skein. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Crap, hold on. Alright, so 6, 7, I have 8. And the reason I have all these mixed from all off is because I ended up having to cake the yarn. Because I think it's the second square I made. I think the first one I made was the back. They got to like here, and there was a factory knot that jumped from this color to this color. Absolutely no. So I had to cake all of the yarn so I could know which color was at each end and find out how many factory knots I had. So I ended up using 2 that were close-ish to make the sleeves. And then this was 2 chunks. And then this was the end of the second chunk from the hood. And then like these top 3 rows of orange I had to tie on. I can feel the knot. It's right. See that? Knot. It's like a row or 2. Was added on, but I just put that on. And like I said, I think I have about 2 skeins left because I caked it all, so it's not skein. I will say, I love working with this yarn. It is so soft. It, like, you can't really stab through it with your hook. It doesn't pull. I did have just the most minorest issue with it, like, matting up when you're trying to pull it out. But that's because I was trying to work the chain to make the pocket here, and I did like 2 or 3 times, so it was just, I wore the yarn down. But if you don't mind polyester and you want to make something that's going to be warm, and I mean warm, this, I would absolutely recommend this yarn. Because A, this is, like, I love my cardigans. Love all my cardigans. And, this isn't itchy at all. I honestly foresee me living this going forward. Like, I love this thing. I was inspired, EcoShoe made a granny square sweater, and this is a me problem. I overcomplicate things. She made the simplest version, where she made the front square, and the back square, and the arm square, and the arm square, and she sewed it together, and she had a sweater. I like to make things difficult, and I wanted to use up my yarn. I am not at all sorry about this hood. As far as like the shaping and how to close it off and stuff, I just followed Passionate Kelsey's tutorial for her granny hexagon crochet hood, which I will link below. I have linked it before. I linked it when I used it to make the hood on my Gengar sweater. But, like, I don't know if you can see because I'm wearing this nice dark blue sweater or shirt under the sweater, but like, I got a lot of neck hole space, so that's not a problem. And like, yeah, it's big on me. This yarn's also, like, decently thick. This is the back. I did blue out. I did the blue out for one square and the red out for the other square, and I just ended up being up front, not up. And that's because the ribbing starts in the middle of the back here. So that's why this one I put out as the back. But I will put the hood up and turn around so you can kind of see all of the increases that I had going on. Because, again, I just wanted there to be some extra space in here so that I can wear my headphones or, you know, whatever. And then around the hood, this is just the reverse single crochet for the crab stitch. I just, when you do this, you come forward. I went around, then I went here, and I had like the V kind of thing going on with the 2 front of each other, but I just kind of single crocheted them together because it wasn't sitting the way I wanted to, and now it is. And then I also, for here, you can see, I worked back to, here's my, my middle point was the space, it wasn't the cluster. So here's my middle point, and then I worked over into the third cluster here. Yeah. Just so that this wasn't like this. No one wants this on it. And this will flatten out or I'll steam it. But, I just checked today. I posted my last video 2 weeks ago, and it only takes me a couple days to edit things together. I'm sure you can tell editing is not my forte, and I don't have the patience for it, so I don't do a lot of complicated editing. It's like my #1 dream. If this channel ever makes it like big, hiring an editor. Because I'll film it, I'll make things, give me the hell of a computer. But yeah, I'm so thrilled with this. So, left in the basket, I have to take this off because I'm melting. So room for that. Also, like, sucker is heavy. This, what I have left with my 8 skeins. And honestly, these two might end up in my scrap yarn for the granny squares. We don't know about the rest of this. We'll see. Haven't decided. But that's what I have left out of my 8 skeins. And I am going to stick these in here just so I know what this is. But, so that's that. Left in here, we have granny square raglan. And I have the garlands, crocheted garlands. And I have that, which is a big version of this guy. This is the bud. This is the shiny. I love it. But here's the thing. Clothes are flat. Those are squares. They're squares, and then you turn them into not squares. This. Thinking in circles and orbs and shapes, especially 3D shapes, is so hard for me. And, like, this is a complicated knots pattern, and I watch all of her streams she does because she's trying to crochet the Pokédex. And I have learned a great deal. Like, I conceptually understand much better the relationship between crochet and making 3D shapes. It still requires my full attention to actually do it, no matter how much better my understanding of what I am doing has become. So, I have to be in the right mood to work on that, and I haven't been. So, I don't want to work on any of this. And I don't know what I'm going to do next. I am contemplating. I have two yarns I'm interested in. Cardigan. I need to get some yarn. Oh, I have 3 yarns. Forgot about these. Alright. So while I just complained about having a project where I bought the yarn and not the project first, I have more yarn than I bought without project in mind. I have this, which is the Super Satyrs Bitty Stripes. This is the Sunset Beach. I like rainbows. Can you guys tell? Have we come to that conclusion yet? I like rainbows. I like rainbows. I like rainbows. have like freaking rainbow lights happening. Not that you can see them. Don't know if I can move this. Rainbows. There will be rainbows. There they go. Like rainbows. Want to stay there? No, probably not. Why would I move things? I know better than this. You just get to cut all that out. I'll leave it in. Let's see what I decide. No. Stay. Okay. The one I forgot I had is this. It's the Bundle of Love. It is in the color Tropical Blue. And I don't know. It's like so ugly it's cute vibes. There's a lot happening. There's blue, there's teal, there's orange, there's pink. And there's all of the spaces where those blend together that are not kissed. And then my final yarn is this. It's Premier Puzzle. I got it at Walmart, but you can get it other places. And it is in the color yarn? Yeah, in the color Maze. Just Maze. But it's greens, which I also love. See by my Pom Pom Box as well. So this for sure, I want to be a cardigan. And I'm thinking cardigan for this too. I think I might do a blanket with this. My mom got this yarn in a different color. I want to say mermaid or harbor or something. It's blues and teals and purples. And she used it and she made a wave, or a ripple. She made a ripple blanket. And it turned out so cute. But if I'm going to do a blanket with this, I gotta finish the neon rainbow blanket first. So I have no idea what I'm doing now. I don't know.
Okay, so last clip I showed you some yarn I had, and I couldn't decide which one to work with. So I showed the 3 yarns I had to my mom. She picked out this one, which is the Bundle of Love in Tropical Bloom. I had to ball up that skein because I tried to every crocheter or fiber artist has their own way of explaining it, but I tried to remove the guts of the skein to find the end, and instead I found a nightmare. So it got turned into a ball as punishment. But this is the pattern, or how it's working up so far. It's chaos, and I fully admit that, but I like it. It gives me bus fabric or arcade floor fabric, very like late 80s, early 90s, into the 2000s, because getting things recarpeted is expensive. Like it just, those are the vibes it gives me. These colors are like, to me, like 80s windbreakers, because we've got some teal, obviously the orange and the pink. There's some more of the teal, and then this, I don't know how well it's reading because I film with my phone and I have the blue light filter on, because that migraine life, y'all, is bullshit. But this color is like a purple. So we got purple, teal, orange, pink. The only color missing out of the joyous 80s windbreakers, like Jane Fonda workout gear, is that like really saturated, like cyan blue. But I'm really loving this. This pattern is really simple. So this is just 2 half double crochets into the space between the last 2 half double crochets, and then half double crochets into the next space between. And it's just like you can feel the texture there, but it's not too much. And then if I hold it up here, like you can see there's some see-throughness to it. But I did try doing something a little more complex. I kind of tried to go for like a wave or a ripple, but with the way this yarn patterns, it wasn't the right choice. I'll try it with a different yarn, and maybe it'll... Oop, I know what I'm doing. I know how to operate my phone. I know where the camera on my phone is. But like I said, I'll try that with a different yarn, either with a longer gradation or solids into like stripes, even though that sounds like work, and I'm not. The things that require the most effort tend to turn out the best. See my Starry Night cardigan. But after all them goddamn edges, I just can't do it right now. I can't. Every 3 rows on that cardigan, I had to cut the yarn. And it was like 84 rows long, something like that. Like, there were so many freaking ends to weave in, and I did it all. Can't do that again right now, which is why we're doing this. So that's the yarn. I have, that's a skein, that's a skein. And then if we pop that down here, I have a 3rd skein. Ooh. A 4th skein. A 5th skein. I thought I had 6. I do. 6th skein. So that is gonna be way more yarn than I probably need. But those are my 6 skeins. I might end up making 2 sweaters, because again, I think this is way more yarn than I'm gonna need. But we will cross that bridge when we get there. That's all I have for now.
I filmed this whole segment. Didn't have the microphone plugged in correctly. There's no sound. And we're gonna take this and just like this whole project, like the project, we'll go through this. This is a win. It's a 10 out of 10 project. But for you guys, me providing the content point of view, I spent the last week doing cleaning things, organizing things, optimizing things, cleared out like some of the yarn in my closets, like cardigans that I've made and my sweaters, cleaned the shelves, and like rearranged my yarn a little bit, and like cleaned up just parts of my room, make things in the house function better for me. Which meant when I was working on this, I was not focused on like content creation, filming updates. So we went from the inch strip for the back panel to a fully finished sweater. And I'm quite pleased with this sweater. Oh, and there was an end. I didn't leave that somewhere. Because of the colors and the like Jane Fonda-esque workout vibes this yarn gave me, I decided to lean very heavily into like late 80s, early 90s crew neck sweater vibes, which I nailed, personally. 10 out of 10, right here. And I also decided for all of the ribbing, if I had done it in this yarn, it would have been fine, been functional, but it wouldn't have added anything to the sweater aside from the shaping. Whereas I feel like having the solid colors kind of helps. It's like putting an ink outline on the dry. It just really brings everything in sharp focus. And these colors, the cups specifically, not the best matches. I admit that. I'm working with what I have. They're the colors I had. They don't look bad, but they could match better. This pink and this orange, perfect. I mean, absolutely. 10 out of 10. Perfect. Done. And all these solid colors of the twist, I'll have them listed in the description. Not that that's useful, but I'll have it there. There's 4 colors in this yarn. The pink is very clear. The orange is very clear. The teal is very clear, even though this one's a little bit brighter than what's actually in the mix here. The 4th color might be purple, might be blue. Not 110% sure. I don't see colors that well. I see them okay. But like blues and purples that are really close to each other, that's the same color. Reds and oranges that are really close to each other, that's the same fucking color. Which my brain is like, I don't do red. Anything that requires red, I don't do that either. So my mom and I decided that this was the closest color that I had to what's within this yarn, but it's not right. And I don't need to tell me it's not right, because I know it's not right. If I find something better, I can take this cuff off. It's 5 rows. On the end, rip the cuff off, the cuff on, it'll take me 20 minutes max. Fine. But, if I were to do anything wrong about this project, I'd have made it a little smaller, a little tighter fit, only because I used 3.5 of my 6 skeins of yarn here. If I had made it smaller and I kept it at even 3, that would have eased the autism that exists in me. But I did, and I wasn't undoing the entire backpack. It just wasn't. Measurement-wise, the information you need to know. Started at the bottom, worked my way up to both the front and back panels. Both of them are 95 stitches wide. And then this stitch is, I did a foundation half double crochet. And then the stitch starts with a half double crochet, skip a space, 2 half double crochets into a stitch, skip a space, and just you repeat that all the way to the end, and then the last space and the last stitch you put 1 half double crochet, and then you put 2, and you work, and you repeat. And every time you work the 2 half double crochets, you work it into the gap of the previous row. So I started with 95 stitches because I did a foundation row instead of chaining. I don't need to add the extra 2 chains to build the height. So whatever you end up doing, you want to do it visible by 5s or 8s. I will write it in the description. I have it written out. For the collar, like, I made this front panel, I put 2 parts that went up, a nice little square here to add this collaring. 16 clusters on either side, which left 13 in the middle. From the bottom to the bottom of the collar is 78 rows, and then to make the shoulder pieces, that was 14 rows. Means the back panel was 95 by 90. The sleeves are 48 rows long and 31 clusters around. I crocheted the sleeves right on because the way the yarn is, you can't tell. If you say you can't tell, I mean, yes, you kind of can tell, but you can't. This yarn is just chaos, so it doesn't. I prefer to crochet sleeves on because it leaves the best seam, in my opinion. But when I'm doing a pattern and I want the pattern to continue down the sleeve like it does the shoulder, I have to sew it on because you have to make it the other direction. I went the lazy route for this one. Yeah, all my ribbing, as always, is alternating front post, back post, double crochets. You stack the front posts up, stack the back posts up, and you get this nice ribbing effect. And it's got like decent stretch to it. It is so much faster than backward rolley single crochet. I'm a hate until I die. It's just the way it is. But that's this. This video is a mess, and it's a reflection of life. This is what I have done in the past month. This is what you get to come along with for the past month. I made 3 pieces, like 3 whole finished pieces, and I started a project in this episode. And this and the rainbow hoodie were just total, like, doing something to use the yarn projects, and that Starry Night cardigan was so planned out and, like, perfectly 100% executed in my brain to reality. And I like both of these sweaters more than I like that cardigan. And, not that I dislike the cardigan. The cardigan is a masterpiece. I love the cardigan. It's to complete something, bring to reality, so satisfying. So satisfying. And, I have to take this off because I'm melting. But, like, I'm so pleased with that cardigan. I don't have words for how happy I am with that cardigan. I promise you I will wear this more, and I will wear that rainbow hoodie more than I will wear that cardigan. I've heard all kinds of content creators talk about it, but like when I think about this concept, I think about Aaron Hansen talking about like his fellow animators. And yes, he doesn't animate all the time, but Aaron Hansen is still an animator. He's like, you'll pour your heart and soul into a project, you'll work on it for months, and it'll be the most beautifully crafted masterpiece you think you've ever made. And it'll get like the average amount of affection towards it that you would expect. And then you'll waste like a couple, like 20 minutes making this stupid little, like, half-assed joke. And it goes viral. Like, that's kind of how I feel about these sweaters and this cardigan. Like, I poured my heart and soul into that cardigan. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. It's exactly what I envisioned. I love it. Both of these, I'm just going to use the yarn up sweaters, I think are going to be, like, more consistent pieces of my wardrobe than that cardigan ever will be. And I'm not mad about it, it's just, like, I don't know. It's not even like it's demoralizing, it's just something I'm aware of, I guess, like, but I don't think any of these projects were bad. I love the result of all 3. I'm super excited to see how that scrap blanket's gonna end up with those stained glass granny square windows. It's just interesting, fascinating. I have a psychology degree. I have a master's in psychology. I have a bachelor's in sociology. The way people think and how we interact with the world up to and including only my limited individual experience is endlessly fascinating. That's the way my brain works. It's just interesting to me that I had this big grand plan and I executed it, and if I had to rank all of the projects in this video, it would be the 3rd out of 3. I'm not counting the granny squares, it's not a finished project yet. I only just finished that crew neck sweater, so I haven't really had a chance to wear it. I think the rainbow hoodie would be number 1 though, because I have worn that repeatedly already. I love that thing. So, yeah, Rainbow Hoodie #1, this, like, 80s revival crew neck piece, #2, and then the cardigan #3. And it's like, you still got a medal. You're still on the podium. You did good. Just there were a couple others that ended up better. You know, I'm rambling. I just, thank y'all for watching. Yeah, questions, ask me. I try to provide as much information as I can in the description. If you have requests, ideas, whatever, again, comment, like, subscribe, like, interact anyway, and I'll be happy to reach back out. And I'll see you in the next one. Don't know what we're doing. Usually I kind of have a plan of what my next project is, but I have a couple ideas. We'll see.